Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Really glad you're with us today. It is a special day, always special, when we have Dr. Keffer and Dr. Amen on at the same time. Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. It's great to be with both of you today.
Dr. Amen, you have a great new book. We're offering it to people, Conquer Worry and Anxiety. It's the secret to mastering your mind. And you talk about, a lot of people think that change takes a very, very long time, a lot of therapy, sitting on the couch, talking and talking. But you say it can be different than that.
Well, I think people can feel better fast if they put the right habits into their lives. And that's what people want. No one ever comes to Sheri or I and say, you know, could this really take a long time? It's like, no, they're in pain. They want to feel better fast. And so many people reach to marijuana or alcohol or anti-anxiety medications. And there's a whole bunch of other strategies that can be helpful if you put them into your life.
Okay, so let's just mention one of those strategies. And by the way, if you want to join us and get some free, isn't that amazing, free advice from a psychiatrist, a PhD psychologist, you call us at 1-800-229-3000, 1-800-229-3000. So you have transformed so many people's lives. What are one of those strategies that can lead us to a level of change that maybe we didn't think possible?
Whenever you feel sad, mad, nervous, or out of control, write down what you're thinking. And then in the book, there are 5 questions to ask with each bad thought. And the first one is it true? You know, John 8:32, know the truth. The truth will set you free. There is so much undisciplined, negative thinking. You know, I call them ants, automatic negative thoughts. We're just infested. And we should always be reflecting on the noise and the nonsense going on in our heads. That I find if you give me 100 of your worst thoughts, I'll change your life because I'll teach you how to get rid of them. And in the book, that's one of the main strategies to feeling better quickly. When you believe your thoughts, you suffer 100% of the time. And when you just learn to question them, it can help you so much. And then one other quick one, lavender. The scent of lavender in multiple studies has been found to help with anxiety, help with depression, help with sleep. So get the highest quality lavender oil you can find. And just whenever you wake up and you're in a funk, take 3 deep breaths just to wake up your brain in a good way.
Can I challenge that? So a question for all of us today, and something that we're afraid of, is the belief is I'm going to get the coronavirus. If you apply what you said, Dr. Amen, you ask, is that true? The second question I know in your book is, do you absolutely know that's true? And by that second question, really, like 100% of us go, well, I can't absolutely know that that's true. And that is an immediate intervention that can change some fear and anxiety right in the moment.
Yeah, you may be afraid of something that will never, ever happen, and you become miserable over something that does not ever show up. We don't want that for you. 1-800-229-3000, 1-800-229-3000. Dr. Daniel Amen, Dr. Sheri Keffer, Steve Arterburn here. We'll be back right after this break with some great advice for you.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, August 15th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn. I want to remind you I've got Going Deeper at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook Live, Going Deeper. Also Thursday, 11 o'clock on the NRB Network, the new show, Life Recovery Today with Stephen Arterburn. Would love for you to join me that 11 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. But right now we're going to go to the calls, and we're going to talk with Sheri. Sheri is calling from Colorado Springs and listens on KGFT. Glad she does. Hi, Sheri. You're on with Dr. Amen and another person named Sheri. Welcome.
Great name.
I run into that a lot. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm a big fan of Dr. Amen's and have several of his books. Dr. Amen, I am concerned because in listening to you for years and now experiencing several concussions and doing all you say to do in memory rescue, I am still losing memory and now having speech that seems to be enfolded or kind of dyslexic speech, wherein words become garbled versus just slightly unclear, and some facial numbness. So I've been to a neuro, but he is very Western medicine, wanted to give me propofol, I think they called it, and now insists that pills are the way to go. We did do scans of the back. I do have issues there, but in truth, I'm really a buyer into the idea of bacteria in the brain. And I want very much to ask, what do I do now? I am in neurofeedback, getting ready to have the last session. I cannot afford your website because I don't have the 99 to join. Also, I currently don't have the web. Can go to the library, but I don't know whether I could do it. So, exercising, working on diet, drinking lots of water, but I'm scared.
Okay.
The right side of my head feels styrofoam.
All right. That's rough.
Yeah,
Let's hear what Dr.
scary.
Amen said.
What kind of concussions have you had?
Twice I was hit on the left side of my vehicle, closing in on the intersection or crossing, and somebody came through and hit me, and I flung to the right. And then one in sports, but most recently, a trip, slip, and near fall at the library, and the PT and so on said it was like an auto accident also because my head flung back, and I do have damage there on my neck. I'm a physical therapy as well, but I'm just scared when my speech gets controverted.
Yeah, no,
I'm
let
starting
me
to
in the time we have.
a lot of issues.
Okay, let's hear what Dr. Amen had to say here.
Yeah, so let me in the time that we have. So it sounds like you've banged your brain around pretty good, and with those concussions, and then as we age, it's not a good combination. And so Memory Rescue is just the right book in that, okay, which of the other risk factors do I have and how do I attack it? So I also did the big NFL study. We've scanned and treated 300 NFL players. So you can imagine they're like in a car crash multiple times on every Sunday they play. And we did a multiple vitamin, high-dose, high-quality fish oil, and then a brain boost that worked in multiple ways. So ginkgo for blood flow, acetyl L-carnitine for mitochondrial energy, phosphatidylserine, and I talk about this in Memory Rescue. So simple supplements can help. And then for you, probably a diet that gets rid of almost all simple carbohydrates, bread, pasta, potatoes, rice, sugar, because those things increase inflammation and continue to age the brain. And then, I don't know if you can afford it, but I'm a huge fan of hyperbaric oxygen therapy. When I find the supplements and diet aren't doing what needs to be done, then going in a hyperbaric chamber can be helpful as well. Now, you may not be able to afford that, but I know they have a lot of used hyperbaric oxygen chambers online, so maybe you can pick one up for not very much money. Those are the strategies that I use besides getting physically healthy as much as you can. I mean, most people, they just don't connect the brain to the rest of the body. I published a study just last week on 35,000 scans that said as people's weight went up, the size and function of their brain went down in a linear fashion. So getting physically healthy is just so important.
All right. Well, I hope that is helpful to you. A lot of information there. But essentially, what I'm hearing, Dr. Amen, is don't give up on your brain. Even though you've had multiple injuries, do what you can do, as you say, put it in that healing, healthy environment, including oxygen. But the supplements really can make a difference. And I hope that she has a neurologist that is guiding her, leading her, and helping her the best possible, because you just can't do this on your own, in my mind. You know, it really, you need the best advice from the best people ever, and I hope that she'll do that. But I'm really glad that you called,
and Steve,
Sheri.
you know, my experience with most neurologists is that they're pretty traditional, and they actually have no training in using natural ways to heal the brain. But I'm a huge fan of naturopaths, and because that's how they study. They actually study what are the natural ways to heal the brain. I actually employ 3 naturopaths at Amen Clinics, and I'm just a huge fan of them. And one of my guys, Cabron Chapik, has a brand new book out called Concussion Rescue. So perhaps Sheri can check that out at the library or get it online at Amazon for like $15. And that would be another way to get more ideas to heal her brain. But Sheri, don't give up. Every day, you're either making your brain better or you're making it worse. And if you're already struggling with things like memory and speech, it means it's sort of going to the dark place, so we want to lighten it up.
Okay, don't want it going to the dark place, that's for sure. All right, thank you, Sheri, for your phone call. Smile.Amazon is a great way to buy things on Amazon, because we get a little portion of that if you'll allocate it or identify us as the charity, the nonprofit that you want to support. Let's go to Sean from Washington, D.C. WAVA is the station Sean listens to. Hi, Sean. You're on with Dr. Amen and Dr. Keffer. How are you?
Good afternoon to both of you. Fan of the show and been to Dr. Amen's clinic here recently with my 23-year-old son. He played soccer for years and years, and freshman year of college developed what looked like depression, exploded into OCD, and these days, 2 years later, a basic shutdown of life. And I'm not sure my question, but I'd just love to talk to Dr. Amen and see what he thinks from the scans that we got back. it looked like the business part of his brain is shut down. He's not making decisions well, obviously. And it all ends up with him being in one chair for weeks on end. That includes everything that you can imagine, eating and getting rid of it. So I just felt I had to call.
Boy, that's rough.
Well,
what do you think,
Sean,
Dr.
I'm
Raymond?
so glad you did. And you know what the scans do for me, and I hope they do for Sean and for you, is they give you a roadmap of what are the areas that are hurt or that are not functioning in the right way. And then, okay, here's the plan. And you follow the plan, whether it's supplements, diet, exercise, medication, hyperbaric oxygen. And then we see, is this intervention doing what it's supposed to do? And then, you know, often, at least for me, 4, 5, 6 months later, I'll scan you again and go, are we going in the right direction? But when your brain is hurt, nothing else in life is as good as it could be. Not your work, not your money, not your mind, not your relationships, nothing. And so that becomes primary. And if your son sort of isn't doing the program, what I would just make sure I'm modeling a brain healthy life. And I don't push, but nudge.
So I like that terminology of nudging, because it sounds like that this guy is just paralyzed sitting in that chair. I don't know.
Well, and I have a question, Sean. One thing that wasn't shared, and this is a curious question of mine. Do you have any knowledge if your son is using marijuana or alcohol to self-medicate? Are you aware of that?
Nope.
The reason I ask is sometimes people that have that OCD brain, it's a worry brain. It's a brain that has a hamster on a wheel, and so it can be there, and it can cause somebody over time, because they aren't able to resolve the issues of their life, it kind of move them into depression. So I guess my questions would be, what is he sad about? What happened to him before all this thing started spiraling out of control? And I mean, was he just living a happy, lucky life? And I know you said he was playing soccer, but was he just a happy kid and all of a sudden this just went sideways? Normally it's not that way.
Looking back, you know, when we were there, he was a happy, social, well-liked by adults and peers kid. And then looking back, he may have been hiding the OCD, hiding the anxiety, and then it got to where he couldn't anymore.
But this is what I'm looking for. Like as somebody that would sit with your son, I would want to hear stories about what's happened in his life. I'd want to be asking him. I'd be looking for a bad breakup. I'd be looking for bullying. I'd be looking for situations where he felt like he couldn't do things perfect in school and he felt like he was a failure. I would be looking for times where he felt like I didn't make the cut on the team. Like, what are the stories that would cause him this much grief and shutdown? Because if we're just, I'm a proponent of looking at the brain, but Dr. Amen talks about body, soul, mind, and spirit, and there is some soul work to do with him. There is some relational connection, understanding his heart work to do that I haven't heard yet.
Well, let me just throw this in too. Dr. Amen talks about the value of exercise, and some studies showing that exercise in some people more effective than medication. So here he was, a soccer player, and perhaps that level of physical activity was medicating all of this in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And then when he stopped that level of activity, he didn't know it, but he was getting off of all the internal medicine that he was pumping through his veins. He got off of that. And so maybe somehow getting him back to a high level of physical activity, you get the internal drugs pumping again.
Okay, well, here's one for all of you. He won't get out of the chair to exercise. He's 23. He's been hospitalized against his will a couple of times and very medication resistant. So all this, I may help other people. There's got to be other people I've heard in the same boat. Medication resistant and unable or unwilling or can't get going to exercise.
All right, well, we'll hear some more from Dr. Amen on this very tough case right after this. Thanks for joining us.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stu. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and you want to join us, 1-800-229-3000. Dr. Amen, do you have a final comment, or Sheri, on that previous call? I mean, it's really, really tough what this boy is going through.
I just have one thought, Dr. Amen, before you jump in. But I think it's really hard. You know, we talk about the dark side of the brain and why it goes there, and we want to rescue it out. And I think this is a kid that has a dark side too. And I think, I don't mean that in a mean way, but I'd love to sit down with him in my office and begin to explore what's going on. And I think as parents, we can be scared to go there. I mean, a kid doesn't go into inpatient just because. Typically they're suicidal, and it just doesn't happen in a vacuum. And so the brain and relationships, the brain and connections, the brain and things that happen to us are so wedded together that if we don't go to the dark side of both of them, we often miss things that are part of what he needs to help him.
Any thoughts on that, Dr. Amen?
Well, if he has really sleepy frontal lobes, it may be really hard for him. You know, I think of it as hardware and software, and you know, therapy's not going to work until the hardware is fixed. And so now I think of, well, what else can we do with someone who's so severely depressed? There's a treatment called transcranial magnetic stimulation that might be helpful if that's not been tried. There's even when people get suicidal, other sort of stimulating techniques we do to try to repair the brain. And everybody thinks, oh, 6-year-olds hitting soccer balls with their head. It's just insane when you think about the physics. Brain is soft, skull is hard, skull has sharp bony ridges. We just need to do a much better job of protecting the brain. There's a new documentary on HBO called The Weight of Gold, and it's about depression in Olympic athletes and, even suicide. And no one's talking about the incidence of traumatic brain injury in those athletes, very high. And then, Steve, as you said, you get all of the medicine from this intense exercise, and then you stop. No wonder so many athletes after the games have post-Olympic depression because, they train so hard and then they just stop. Your brain goes into a tailspin, even if you won 8 gold medals.
Yeah, and right when you need those internal medicines going, because you're adjusting to the fact that the crowds aren't there for you, you're not competing, you don't have the companionship of the team, you don't have what you've been doing that's been so good for you, and even covering up and self-treating in a healthy way the problems. And so, boy, I wish we could somehow get the guy out of the chair, but that's going to be something that is going to have to be negotiated with Dad, and that's not going to be easy. Anyway, I hope that I'll send him a copy of Conquering Worry and Anxiety, and I hope that will be of help to him as he's dealing with his son. How about we go to Keith from Fredericksburg, Virginia. He is listening from Fredericksburg. Keith, how are you today? What's going on with you?
I am well. Thank you for having me on your show. I suffer from severe depression, and I'm currently feeling much better, but the depression in the past has led to me being a very angry person, and I still suffer from that a little bit. And due to that, my wife has left me, and I'm in the process of getting divorced. But I've since gotten on a medication, and it's really working for me. But I've been told that sometimes these medications can wane, or they will over time stop working, and I'm terribly scared that I'm going to go back to where I was at. And I was wondering if there's other alternatives or something that I can pursue to keep that from happening.
All right. Dr. Amon, what do you think here?
Oh, Keith, I love that you called. There's so much to talk about. So I would want to go back in your history and wonder if you ever had a head injury. It's likely you hurt your left temporal lobe, so it's underneath your temple and behind your eye on the left side, and often goes with mood instability, irritability, temper problems, dark thoughts, and
terrible.
I'm sorry?
Terrible thoughts.
Terrible thoughts. And
yes.
So any history of a head injury at any point in the past? Car accident, concussions, planned sports, falls?
I was in a car accident when I was younger. I mean, I don't think I had a concussion. I played football. There is one time where I think I very well may have had a concussion. But, I mean, nothing really stands out that other than those.
Well, often when we scan people, we find concussions that, they just didn't even think were serious. When I met my wife 15 years ago, I mean, I was not going to fall in love with her until I scanned her brain. It's just how my brain works. And I said, "Do you ever have a head injury?" And she goes, "No."
We'll be back.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, August 15th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. It's the bottom of the hour, but we've got a guy that's on the top of the list. Larry Sonnenberg is in the studio. Larry, how are we doing today?
Steve, we're doing well because we are going to have Every Man's Battle this weekend, and I just want people to understand and know that that workshop is doing amazingly well online. I want to read a testimony real quickly.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm leaving Every Man's Battle hopeful, having sabotaged my marriage of 18 years regularly throughout the only brief periods of sobriety from my addiction to porn and sex. I'm far more hopeful than I imagined was possible. I've learned about the nature of my addiction, the extent of my woundedness, impact of my sin on my family, friends, loved ones, community, more than I believed possible in 2 days. And I mean, he goes on for that long and longer, how encouraged he is and how great it is. But I just want to encourage you guys, this is your chance. You have today, tomorrow, and Thursday to sign up.
Okay, we've said it so many times, Larry. You can be one guy one day, and you go to this. 2 days later, you are on a different path. Your life is beginning that transformation process. But you just have to trust us and call us and get involved with it. It's confidential, but it's transformational. And then I want to say this again: we've got astounding results, and we need everybody's support to keep doing that and keep reaching new people all the time to get involved and get their integrity in place.
And you said the key thing: they're on a path. This weekend doesn't fix everything that then it's all done, but
Right.
they're on the path. Their wife will probably need some help in supporting him and knowing how to help her own heart. But it's all good, and that's why we seek your support, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to continue doing this, and it takes support to do it. So if you can make a gift, join Club New Life, give us a call today, please.
And if you do make a gift of any amount, we have taken the wisdom of Dr. Amen, squished it all into one download that will give you as a way of saying thank you for all that you do to support us. It's a CD. We put it all right there. Now, it's hard to get all of Dr. Amen's wisdom on one CD because he's been coming on with us a long time. But we've tried to do it. And then finally, I just want to say this. Every Man's Battle has been around for a long time. And you could say we've kind of perfected the process that needs to take place for somebody to get better. Let us help you. Don't struggle alone. Work through whatever you have to let us help you. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. All right, let's go back and talk with, how about we
Keith.
talk with Keith
yes.
and finish up here. The question of, with this severe thing and the head injury, a question came up, but what can he do about this?
Well, yeah, no, I'm
depression?
wondering with this, but traumatic brain injuries are a major cause of depression, anger, irritability. I'm really glad you found medicine that worked. Your question, well, you hear they wane. Actually, that's actually fairly rare. If you find something that works, what I would encourage you to do is then put your brain in a healing environment. No, it's your brain that causes depression. In this case, likely is your brain dysfunction that was causing your divorce. And so medicine can certainly help, but then you also want to exercise, eat right, multiple vitamin, fish oil, do the right things to put your brain in a healing environment. And then see, you should send him the end of mental illness, because in the end of mental illness, I talk about, well, if your brain is headed to the dark place, sounds like Keith yours was, well, how do you get it back? And you get it back by preventing or treating the 11 major risk factors that steal your mind. And that is the hope that you can be the person you want to be. And then, and only then, you end up having the relationships you actually want to have.
All right, I'll send that book to you. It is my favorite of yours, and I hope that that's going to benefit him gratefully. I think that it will. We'll go to Melinda now from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. WFIL is the station there. Melinda, you're on with Dr. Amen. How you doing?
Good. How are you? How are you? God bless everybody.
Thank you. What's going on with you today?
I'm 55 years old, and I guess I've had anxiety for, I guess, since my teens, but I didn't realize it until a couple years ago. Anyway, I always relied on smoking marijuana, and like practically nobody knows I do that. And I know it has had some effect on me doing that, but because of my anxiety, I talk, I guess, to myself a lot, and sometimes I guess make an assumption or an opinion of what is not. And I'm always nervous. Nobody knows that, though. I fake it well. So I understand Dr. Amen specializes in that, and I did hear that there are other options to deal with that besides turning to some type of drug or something.
Yeah.
And
now let's let Dr. Amen let's let Dr. Amen answer this. But I want to tell you, this really fits with our experience, Melinda. We've never had anybody call and say, life was hard. I started smoking marijuana, and I cannot believe the things I've gotten done with my life, the purpose that I feel. It never goes well. The thing that you think is the cure becomes the poison. Dr. Amen, what do you have to say to her?
Yeah, no, Steve, I just completely agree. But there's so many other ways to manage anxiety. So you own it. You already admit that this is an issue for you. And then in Conquer Anxiety and Worry, there's probably 50 ways to deal with anxiety. I just start working down them and go, okay, which one works for me? Is it diaphragmatic breathing, guided imagery, meditation? One of my favorites, the last week or so, my wife started waking up with these terrible leg cramps. And we're in the middle of a pandemic and societal unrest. Yeah, she's more anxious. And so I gave her GABA, 750 milligrams before bed, and she's just been sleeping like a baby. She's less anxious, which automatically means my life is better. And so GABA is a supplement that might be helpful to you, but there's a whole bunch of them. Magnesium helps some people. L-theanine from green tea can help. These are natural things that do not have the negative cognitive effects that marijuana can have on so many people. So we should send you Conquer Anxiety and Worry. It will help you so much.
I will send it to you, and I'm glad that you called.
Yeah, and I have one question, Melinda. I just wanted to ask, did you grow up in a home where there was a lot of criticism, where you weren't seen and heard, and maybe you were expected to be perfect but really weren't, didn't have somebody that listened to your heart?
Oh my God, that is so true. But not criticism, I guess, because they didn't love me, but I have an older sister. She's a year older, and she has like kind of OCD. And I'm always on the other spectrum, so because they were always praising her, I always felt not good enough.
Yeah.
And to this day, if I ever talk about it, I cry.
Yeah. So what I want to encourage you to do, in addition to what Dr. Amen has suggested, is to get into a situation where you don't run away from those tears, but you spend time in a group, like a codependency recovery group, a CODA group, or you spend time with a good therapist that can help you sort out what those tears are about. Because we end up running from our tears. We run from our anxiety, and then we kind of hold that chaos inside. So that's, I would invite you to do some deeper work to heal your heart. Maybe Finding Freedom weekend might be a good weekend for you to come and get connected with some others that have a lot of anxiety too.
Well, you know, one of the things that I think you probably came out of that kind of childhood with is I'm on my own. I have to do this on my own. Nobody understands me. They're putting me down. They don't. Yeah, and so you feel so alone out there trying to find some source of help and hope, but you don't have to be alone. And I'm glad you've called us, and we're gonna help you. I'll send you this wonderful little book, Conquer Worry and Anxiety. It's part of the New Life Library that we're giving away to say thank you for anyone that joins Club New Life, and we'll tell you about that after this. So glad to have Dr. Amen and Dr. Keffer on the same day. They introduced me to each other, and I am so grateful. And since knowing Dr. Amen, not only am I more amazing, but I've just seen people become amazing. It's really phenomenal, and we're grateful for the people that go to see him. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Dr. Daniel Amen is on the program. When you join Club New Life, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. $30 a month, you get Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Amen, Growth Has No Boundaries, Cloud Townsend, Emotional Freedom Workbook, Arterburn Neal, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, Stoop, Forgiving What You'll Never Forget, Stoop, Healing is a Choice, Arterburn, Take Your Life Back, Day by Day, Arterburn, Stoop. We send that because we want to say thank you for helping us help other people. You will become part of the New Life giving family, and we will be grateful, and so will the people that we'll be able to reach because of your help. Let's go to Marcia. Everybody else, hold on. We're going to do another program right after this. Should be able to get to your call. Washington, D.C., WAVA. Marcia, I don't have a lot of time, but I did want to try to get to your call. How could we help today?
I have a question.
Okay.
And thank you for taking my call. I
Sure.
have a 17-year-old who has ADHD, short-term memory loss, and I have a 15-year-old who suffers through insomnia.
Okay. And so you just want to know how to help them? Have you done anything that to help them? Have they gone to see anyone anywhere?
Yeah. We went to Children's Hospital for the insomnia. They were stating that it was mild for the 15-year-old female, and she can take melatonin or something to that effect. But and we have tried that, and she said, "Mom, it just doesn't work. I still, we cut down computer usage and phone usage at night and all that wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like it hits her during times that it's like I'm tired all the time.
Yeah.
I can't sleep. I haven't slept and whatever. My 17-year-old, yes, he's been to the doctor, and since he was about 11, 12 years old, and saw a therapist. That was helpful. Issues with that, and it's just now you're getting older. My concern is developmental with the brain.
All right.
All that good stuff.
Let's see what
you're a
Dr.
good
Amen-
mom. First
Yeah.
off, I just want to say you're a good mom.
Trying to take care of business there.
You are.
Let's see what Dr. Amen has
Love
to
that
say
comment,
about this.
Sheri.
Yeah.
So we actually make something called Put Me to Sleep. Melatonin works for some people, and actually many people don't know it's low-dose melatonin, like 0.3 milligrams or half a milligram, that works better than 4 or 5 milligrams. But we make something called Put Me to Sleep. It's a chewable with melatonin, L-theanine, GABA, magnesium, and 5-HTP, and so many of our patients just love it. You can find it at brainmd.com. We also have a course called Overcoming Insomnia, just making sure she is doing the right things every day to put her brain in a healing environment so she's more likely to get sleep. It's a course we have at Amen University. Both of these kids should take Brain Thrive by 25. It's our course to teach teenagers to fall in love with their brain, and it's really great for kids who have ADD because when they put their brain in a healing environment, doesn't mean they won't need medicine for ADD, but what it means is their energy is going to be better and their mind's going to be better, and it helps them avoid things that might actually hurt their brains. So those are some strategies. And I know, Steve, does New Life have my book, Healing ADD, where I talk about 7 different types of ADD? So no is type. And I start the book with, I know you're not going to read this book. How ADD is. I said, no, you're not going to read this book. Read the first 5 pages, and then, tell you what section that might be the most appropriate for you. But there are some resources that might be helpful.
Okay, so whether we have it or not, we'll get one and we'll send it to her and hope that will be helpful. I didn't know I had ADD. I had people say things, teachers would say, your brain is working faster than your pen can write, and things like this. And I just was so grateful to get the right diagnosis about what I was going. It wasn't horrible. It was a relief. Somebody knows what I have. And I'm really glad, Marcia, that you're doing the search and you're taking care of business as Sheri said, a good mom. Well, I hope and pray that something that we've said today has been helpful to you. I want to encourage you to not stop what God wants you to do. He wants you to get better. And it may mean giving up some home remedies, like we heard here, one of those home remedies, marijuana. Maybe you're going to have to give that up. I will guarantee you this, and this is something that Dr. Amen taught me. Sugar is the enemy. And if I have sugar, and I've talked about the South Beach diet and how I've developed the North Pole diet, where anything that's white, you just don't eat it. Sugar, white flour, white bread, white rice, white potatoes. That's the North Pole diet. You can eat snow, though. That won't hurt. But anyway, so if you eliminate those simple carbohydrates and you start to add complex carbohydrates, vegetables that are good for you, and protein, the brain functions differently. I can tell you, I guarantee you, once you go through withdrawal from high fructose syrup or whatever the sugar source is, you're going to experience a different kind of brain. As we close out, Dr. Amen, encourage some people to fall in love with their brain. Please.
Well, I just love what you said and how important diet is. And, one of the things I was thinking during Marcia's call, and then when you came out and said you have ADD, and it was so helpful, is many people think medicine is bad, but I often describe it as like glasses. If your frontal lobes are really sleepy, which is what we see typically in ADD, withholding medicine is sort of like withholding glasses from someone who can't see. That, in fact, it's not fair. And I'm always thinking of first do no harm, natural treatments. That's what you hear me talking about on the show a lot. But if they don't work, medicine can be critically important. A brand new study out on ADD. People with untreated ADD get COVID more than people who don't because of the impulsivity, and they end up not washing their hands or being around people perhaps they shouldn't be around. So getting the right help to balance your brain, whether it's natural things or medication, I just want you to fall in love with your brain, because your brain controls everything you do. How you think, how you feel, how you act, how you get along with other people. And when it struggles, you struggle. So that's why I love coming on New Life, because my mission is to help people fall in love with their brain, because I'm convinced the end of mental illness will begin with a revolution in brain health.
Amen. Well, that's why we love having Dr. Amen on, because he offers hope for the most important organ of the body. And if you need some help, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you can help us, please call the same number. I'd also encourage you to join me. I'm talking about marriage on our Going Deeper segment on Facebook Live, 5 p.m. Eastern. Also, Life Recovery Today, 11 a.m. on NRB Television, the NRB Network. That's at 11 on Thursday, 11 a.m. You can go to the little website we've got there, liferecoverytoday.net. Thank you, Sheri. Thank you, Dr. Amen. 1-800-229-3000 if you want to join us for the next program. We'd love to have you. And we'll see you right here tomorrow on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.